Good morning, I'm Carrie Cook, I'm from the Treasury. I'm not sure we do think we're the most important part, but I would like to point that out. We're a collaborator, I think. Just getting that in there. We're the friendly face of Treasury. So I was asked to talk about the political and policy views of demand-side management and what we're doing in this space at the moment, and to do it as a political thriller. And I thought, what is the most popular political thriller I can think of? It's James Bond. Or today, it's 00 DSM. Now let's see. Hang on. Right. So this is the start of our 00 DSM story. It starts with a surveillance map, so he knows where he's going, and a chance for me to introduce the key players on my side. So we start at the very top here with the beehive. This bit up here, that's where our politicians live and work. Well, work, I hope. And the politicians are responsible for the business growth agenda. Now, the business growth agenda is their strategy for improving economic growth and particularly productivity in New Zealand. And one of the key strands of this is infrastructure. Politicians see infrastructure as a key enabler of our economic growth and our business strategy here in New Zealand. So it's very important to them. 00 DSM is now going to move from there down to this building here, which is the Treasury. Now, the Treasury owns the Living Standards Framework here in New Zealand, which aims to improve living standards for all New Zealanders, and again, has infrastructure as a key strand. It specifically lists it. The Treasury is also home to the National Infrastructure Unit, which is what I'm part of, and that released the National Infrastructure Plan in 2011, which set out a vision for infrastructure in New Zealand that by 2030 it's resilient and supports economic growth, and it had two objectives to support that: better use of existing infrastructure and better allocation of new investment. And you can already see that we can't do that without DSM. Better use of existing infrastructure in particular, we have got to be thinking of both supply side and demand side solutions. So it's crucial for us. We also actually had 8 commitments in that plan, one of which was specifically to widen the debate on demand side management in New Zealand. So quite explicit for us. Finally, 00 DSM is going to move over here, which is the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment, NB, who have policy responsibility for energy. So I said Treasury is very collaborative. We don't think we're the most important people. We're absolutely not in the energy space. We talk to NB all the time. So here's 00 DSM. While he's out and about, travelling around his surveillance map, he's going to meet some villains popping up. And we've got 5 broadly here that are causing us challenges in the infrastructure space. Demographic changes. This is both an ageing population in New Zealand, but also a moving population. So we've got changes in demand for all of our infrastructure, not just energy, because people are moving largely from the rural areas to the urban ones. So we've got overutilisation in some areas and the potential of stranded assets in others. We've got ageing assets. A lot of our assets in New Zealand were put in the ground at the same time. They're all getting older. That's going to be expensive when they need renewing. We've got technology changes. We've got funding constraints. Everybody has funding constraints nowadays, particularly some of those rural councils where the people are moving away from them. And we've got resilience issues. New Zealand is a fairly shaky country. We need our infrastructure to stand up to that. And when you put all of that together, what you've got is a pretty challenging environment. So we have our Wall Council, presumably led by M here, thinking about what we can do. And the key thing for us now is traditionally we would have used supply-side solutions. We would have built something new, and that's just not an option for us anymore, not solely. Demand side has got to be included across all infrastructure, including energy. We don't have the money, and it's not the best solution to just build more. So demand side is absolutely important for us. But 00 DSM has a personal enemy, and that is lack of knowledge and lack of understanding. As we go out and about and talk about demand-side management here, we find that people immediately assume that it means we're going to charge them for things and we're going to limit their use of it, and it's going to be imposed on them. And people don't like that here. The general population doesn't like it, and that means politicians don't like it. They're very sensitive to this. There's particularly also a sense that demand-side management means road tolling, and they really hate that. So there's quite a challenge for us in terms of widening that debate and explaining that it isn't necessarily making people pay more. So what are we going to do about that? For those people that haven't seen James Bond, this is Vesper, who was actually a Treasury official, and obviously is representative of what we all look like all the time. So the National Infrastructure Unit in Treasury We committed, as I said, to widen the debate. We're very early on in this. We want people to think more about it. We're just starting to do that. So we released a discussion document last year that tried to explain the breadth of demand-side management. We are sharing case studies all the time. We've actually, I think, already shared Quinton's excellent case study, trying to encourage other sectors, other areas of the country to learn from each other, think about how they could apply those techniques. We have a National Infrastructure Advisory Board. They released a document last year challenging the sectors as a whole, but also challenging us in government to do more on this. And this year we'll be answering that. We are looking now in the Treasury about how we can get stricter on public sector business cases and not allow them through if they haven't considered demand-side management. We see it both as a substitute to new investment, but also as a complement. It isn't necessarily for us just about reducing demand. It's actually about what is the most efficient demand level for the assets we're building and the money we're investing. So we are really pushing that now. As I say, we're still early on. Hopefully we'll have some results over the rest of this year. And maybe I can report back if we do have some great success. So that's me. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. And we do have, as I say, our discussion document up on our website if you're interested. Thank you very much.